Hello everybody, welcome back to the Redmen TV and your player rankings show after Liverpool beat Southampton 2-1 to reach the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Darwin Nunez, Harvey Elliott with the goals and generally speaking, pretty decent display. Yeah, a pretty decent display. Said it a moment ago over there. I think given the amount of changes that we made, given the amount of big hitters and sort of regular stars of the show for Liverpool that didn't even travel to St Mary's to face Southampton tonight, I thought it was a pretty decent display really from the Reds, and given it was a second string side with a little bit of a makeshift lineup going on with Wataru Endo doing like a hybrid midfield centre half display, yeah, good, very good, and yeah, job done, into the hat. Let's see what happens tomorrow night, let's see what we get, but before all that, it's player rankings time. This is the part of the night when I genuinely need you. I pick up a player's face behind me, I look at you and you tell me where to put him. Basically, that's how it works. We have a little chat about it as well along the way. But yeah, let's do this, shall we? Kelleher. Back in the side, back in what he might believe is his rightful position as Liverpool's number one. But yeah, I thought he was really good, actually. I don't know if he could do much better with a goal. I've seen the question asked just there. I just think it's a really good finish, to be honest with you, Cameron Archer. I think there's question marks around some of the defending and the fact we allowed him to cut back and get a pretty clear shot away. And obviously, again, all credit to Archer for the finish. I think it's not quite right out the top drawer, but maybe the one just below it. But yeah, Kelleher, if there were some sort of reservations, if there were some sort of like, oh, maybe couldn't he have done better for that? I think we stopped talking about it when he made that save a few minutes later from Fernandes, which, speaking of top drawers, was right in there. And it was in there like still in his package as well. It was phenomenal. So yeah, pleased for him. Once again, very pleased for him. James says, boss, high sound, low boss. We've got a sound from Woody, boss. Lots of high sounds and bosses. Yeah, I tend to agree with this, to be honest. Kelleher, boss from Rachel. High sounds. Yeah, good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy. I think I'm going to border. We've got a lot of boss and a lot of sounds. I think I'm going to border sort of that, to be honest. Mainly because of that save. And that's when the game is on a knife edge a little bit. Like, credit to Southampton, I said it before, but they had a go. Like, they really had a go second half. They didn't die wondering. I think it was such a subdued first half performance. It looked like we was going to coast to victory, and it was never really going to be sort of treacherous, or we're going to have to get a second gear, really. But then they went up a level or two, just in terms of their efforts. They just didn't really lay a glove on us first half at all. But just in terms of their actual desire and want to win the game, it caused problems for us. But yeah, I thought we dealt with it pretty well, all told. Again, given the fact we made so many changes. Trent, captain. Trent Alexander-Arnold, there and played, somewhat to my surprise, if I'm being honest. I did not expect Trent to be anywhere near this game tonight, I must admit. Kat says Trent was sound. Quadbot says Kelleher lived like he'd never been away. Yeah, he has this, he's a top level goalkeeper, ultimately, isn't he? Let's not beat around the bush. He is a number one in waiting somewhere. I seen he was linked to Leeds earlier on today. And with all due respect, Leeds are a massive football club, by the way. I'm not going to even argue that with anyone because they just are. But Championship, top end Championship, maybe top of Championship as we speak. Them or Sheffield United, I can't quite remember. Probably likely to get promoted. But Kelleher ain't that for me. He's beyond that. Anyway, Trent made the opening for the first goal. Yeah, always. Cece, always. Sounds, to be honest, sound. Loads of sounds for Trent. Loads and loads of sounds. Did really well for the first goal, actually. He might have overhit what turned out to be the assist, thanks to Jan Bednarek bringing it down. Lovely for Darwin to win onto. But yeah, the initial bit of play to actually turn out of trouble, and it was a little bit of trouble there. He turned lovely, got away, held off his man, and then had the vision to at least attempt what would have been an absolute wonder assist, and turned out to be exactly that. So yeah, jobs are good. High end of sound. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, He is that. He is the creator-in-chief of Liverpool Football Club, isn't he? Let's be, whatever you think of him, and there's loads of discourse, there was loads of discussion around him after the weekend, but he is some footballer. Like, I don't care how people feel about him right now. Ultimately, you're entitled to your opinions, but when it comes to actually football, kid's got a gift. The kid's got a gift. That's going to fall. I need to get somebody near that quite quick. Jarell Quansah. Somebody a moment ago said Jarell Quansah was lucky there was no VAR tonight. probably accurate, to be honest with you. Could have easily been sent off. Jack Lloyd says he's lacking confidence, a bit shaky again. Sound from Boss Sound, lots of sounds. There is definitely something missing with Jarell. And I think it is that word confidence, actually, because he was so assured last season. And I know there's a couple of errors, here and there dotted about his campaign, but over the course of the season last year, he must have played, top of my head, 25 towards 30 games, I would imagine. And I don't really remember a time where I felt nervous that Jarell was playing in that entirety. For some reason, and it might just be the fact that obviously taken off half-time in the first game of the season, and it felt as though the world was conspiring against him a little bit in terms of, I said the other day on one of our shows, might have been the podcast, like Andy Robertson, a lot this season has been the scene of the crime. Jarell Quansah's turned into that as well a little bit, though anything that happens and sort of goes wrong, he tends to be in the vicinity of it, and that sounds absolutely horrendous. But I just think it's knocked his confidence once or twice. There have been a couple of errors, a couple of really sort of dodgy moments for Jarell this season, and I'm desperate for him to get back to the levels that he was last year, because we were talking about an academy prospect who kind of emerged from nowhere, saving us 50, 60, upwards £1 million in the transfer market, and right now he's just not quite that. Again, it might be a United game when he laid it. Bruno Fernandes, wasn't it, when misplaced a pass. Fernandes, to be fair to him, and I can't stand him, with a hell of a finish from about 40 yards. But yeah, it does. And again, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It kind of typifies my point, because that shouldn't turn into a goal. But it feels as though anything he does wrong gets compounded by the fact that the opponent score from it. And it's, I think the world just seems to be conspiring a little bit against Jarell, and I feel a bit sorry for him. So there was definitely one moment, James, where this happened. I remember this. Yeah, so still very young. Somebody makes a point here. Yeah, Misty, still very young and still got loads of sort of learning to do and loads of experience to gather. And yeah, I'm not writing him off by any stretch of imagination. He was too good last season for us to be writing him off. But yeah, he needs to reset, it feels like. I don't think tonight was a bad performance, by the way, at all. But yeah, he needs to reset and needs to, I don't know, get a few decent performances under his belt and then build from them potentially. And I do think tonight was one of them. So yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. CC says, I don't know if it is that. I don't know if it is that, because Konate has definitely risen his levels. I don't think that's a conversation that needs bringing into the Quansah conversation. I think they're separate issues a little bit. Quansah's levels dropped for me from last season in terms of what he was able to produce. It would have been interesting had Jarell Quansah stayed at that level he was producing last year, because I think him and Konate, it would have been a semi-decent battle. I think Konate would have won it because he's more experienced. He should be winning that battle, really. But I do think Quansah would have pushed him. He hasn't been really getting pushed by Jarell Quansah because, for whatever reason, he's not quite been at it. Wayne Kerr says alone would do him good. Maybe. Said he could do with should have got a red. Yeah, it probably would have red had they are been involved. But anyway, Trent's really going, isn't he? I'm going to pop Jarell there for two reasons. One, I think is quite a fair assessment, and two, because he's literally propping up Trent Alexander-Arnold. Somebody who won't be propping up Trent Alexander-Arnold, however, is Wataru Endo. A minute ago, somebody kept telling me that I needed to give Wataru Endo his flowers. So let's do that now, shall we? He was... Do you know what? Like, I'm so happy for Wataru Endo. I can't even begin to explain how happy I am for him. I thought he was absolutely brilliant tonight. And Wayne concurs, ironically. Boss, man of the match. We'll do the man of the match later. Hold your horses. Boss. All the bosses. Captain decides second half, which is really good. Like, nice touch. Inevitable, given his experience. Although Mac Allister was there, so could have been him. And it's interesting, that captaincy thing, actually, because under Klopp, it was sort of the longest serving player, got the armband, and that definitely wouldn't be Wataru Endo, thinking on. Yeah, might have gone to Kelleher in that instance. Yeah, maybe. Gomez. Anyway, Wataru Endo, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I thought he was, and it was in such a unique position as well. And I know he's played a lot of DM and he's played a lot of centre-back, but I can't imagine he's sort of amalgamated the two very often in the same game. But yeah, warrior-like is kind of the way of putting it, but he's used to the ball, his defensive stuff, yeah. Sticks that gum shield and goes and wrecks opponents. A couple of big tackles in there too. Gets a couple of whacks in the mouth, so the gum shield comes in handy. Yeah, stupendous is used a minute ago. Boss. Yeah, listen. Yeah, maybe you're right, Dom. Maybe you are right. I'm going to struggle to argue against that tonight. Give me a few hours, like the morning, and we might have a conversation about it. But for now, I'm going to struggle to say anything negative about Wataru Endo. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to pop him right there. Bear in mind, by the way, that if you're not happy with sort of where it is in terms of height, do let me know that too. Joe Gomez, left back Joe Gomez, running it back like it's 23-24 all over again. What do we think about Joey? Pretty good, ultimately, wasn't it? What are we saying? We are saying sound for Mac Allister. I could just stop with that, to be honest with you. I don't think his performance needs dissecting much more than that, if truth be told. And I'm ever so slightly losing my voice, which is a concern, given what I do for a living. But we move. Ain't nobody like him. No, that's also true. High sound, lots of sound. A boss there as well. We've got high sound from Kevin. Freedom Journey says low boss. Are we straddling again? Are we straddling like that with Joey? I don't hate it. And he had the difficult task of trying to stop Tyler Dibbling, who I do really like, I must admit. Far from the finished product, like far from it. But there's something there, isn't there? There's something there. Speaking of being something there, Tyler Morton. Tyler. Jackler, I wish he would score. Yeah, you'd be wishing for a while, mate. You'd be wishing for a while. Yeah, I think, I've said a minute ago, somebody was crying out for me to give Wataru Endo some flowers. I think this kid deserves at least a couple of roses. I thought he was brilliant, honestly. And similar to Endo, in so much as very much on the periphery, very much waiting in the wings, very much, the forgotten player in a lot of senses when it comes to DM role and when it comes to just being part of the squad, really. I thought, and also, like Endo, asked to play two different roles tonight. I thought he was brilliant. His covering once or twice was pinpoint. His positioning and his sense of where to be and where to be at the right time, excellent. Deals with the ball lovely, very uncomplicated. I've used that word a few times when I describe Tyler, but it's kind of my belief in him. Just keeps it ticking over, doesn't do anything fancy, very tidy. Yeah, I like him a lot. I really do. And it's almost a shame that he's not likely, Regan says underrated, he's not likely to get a look in beyond the Carabao Cup. The Accrington Stanley game in the FA Cup will likely be another one for Tyler. I've got a hunch that might be his last game for Liverpool this season, and a loan might follow it, potentially, because you'd keep him around for the Accrington game, wouldn't you? Because why not? But yeah, honestly, I'm really pleased for him. Really, really pleased for him. It says straddle, boss and sound. I'm going higher than that for Tyler. I'm going to be dead honest with you. I thought Morton high sound saved Quansah a few times. I was honestly delighted with him. I was. I don't think he's even a straddler. I think he's a full-blower. I do. That's me for Tyler Morton. Alexis Mac Allister, he looked tired coming off. I know Alexis kind of always does. Bright red cheeks, but he looked knackered. What do we think of his performance? So, just good to have him back, wasn't it, really? I don't think he sort of shone necessarily. Nearly scored in the first half. That would have been a lovely goal. First time finishing to the near post. Good save, to be fair, from McCarthy. Would have been nice. You think Endo is overrated? What do you reckon, chat? Get him, chat. High sound. Maka was sound, says Lucas. Yeah, I tend to low soup. Am I missing something? No. Hi Sam, sounds. Yeah, I'm happy with sound. Sam wants much more really with Alexis. I don't think this was a boss performance from Alexis. I think this is a performance of a man who hasn't played for a couple of weeks, just got back up and running, did his job pretty well. You know, probably the general in that midfield really, when you consider he was alongside Tyler Morton and Harvey Elliott. But yeah, brilliant footballer. One of my favourite footballers for Liverpool. One of the footballers, somebody mentioned the word underrated a minute ago, and I think that applies to Alexis Mac Allister. Isn't always the shining light, isn't always the one who grabs the headlines, but just goes about his business and very, very rarely has an off day. And I think tonight was another one of them. He did nearly score a vegan. That's very, very true. Alexis Mac Allister, ladies and gentlemen, done and dusted. Moving on. My guy. My guy. SofaScore can I was going to say something really bad then. SofaScore can do one. It was far worse. I'm sorry. That's nonsense. Thank you very much, Quadbod. Thank you very much for sticking up for me there. Somebody had to say something. Jack Lloyd says, Nyoni was sound, but he's a real talent. Lots of sounds actually for Trey Nyoni. I've just seen loads. And listen, he was sound. He was sound. There was no sort of, no frills about his performance necessarily. However, having given him the small build-up, as I just did there, I'm going to go a little bit over the top with Trey Nyoni, which some of you may not be surprised to hear. However, this is a nice way of putting it, but the kid's 17 and he fell just shy of 90 minutes worth of football tonight for Liverpool Football Club in a Carabao Cup quarter-final, and I thought he conducted himself brilliantly whilst doing it. He is the type of footballer that I really like watching, first and foremost. That's probably a big reason as to why I'm such a fan of his. However, what he does, and what he does really well, and I was so pleased to see it tonight, because it's easy doing this in some respects to sort of like in with 21s when, 9 times out of 10 he's the best footballer on the pitch in some of them games. But to do it tonight in a game against Southampton, who are a decent side, Premier League opposition, it caused us problems a few weeks ago in the Premier League. He always wants the ball, and he's always willing to go and find the ball and find space for which to receive the ball. And that is such an important trait for a midfielder, especially. He's very technically gifted, he's very comfortable in possession, and a bit like Tyler, very uncomplicated in what he does right next, but he has got more to his game. I think that was a reserved Trey Nyoni performance, which is understandable given his full debut and not wanting to make a mistake and all that sort of stuff. Like, he's 17 years of age. But again, I was so pleased to see him take up a similar sort of spaces that I see him do for the 21s and that sort of stuff. Honestly, that was the most pleasing aspect for me for Trey. And the fact he came through the game unscathed. There was no brilliant moments where you thought, my God, what a footballer. But there was no moments where you thought, God, he's out of place. You can tell he's only 17 either. Like, what more can you ask for the kid, really? You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. Let's put him on the board after all that. Glad Arno has confidence in him. Yeah, rightfully so. He's seen quite a bit of Trey Nyoni now. He's probably the one that he's seen most of, to be honest, I would say. I don't know that for a fact. But yeah, there's a good chance he's seen. Yeah, he's not the biggest, Michael. He's not the biggest. Sorry, what? Thank you very much, Stevie. Thank you. Let's go high sound for Trey. And again, I might be overshooting there a little bit, but I just think in the circumstances, with somebody so young and so inexperienced, I think to play the way he did and conduct himself the way he did, that deserves higher praise than like Alexis Mac Allister, who's been doing it for years, World Cup winner. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's where I'm at with him. Feel free to disagree, but you can disagree with yourselves. Argue amongst yourselves. Harvey Elliott. Just great, isn't it? Isn't it just refreshing to have Harvey back? Just such an intelligent footballer. Like, really, even the goal he scores is really intelligent. The positioning and the time the run, and to be fair to Cody Gakpo, the slip ball as well. But yeah, just nice seeing Harvey back and impacting games, because he's got this knack of doing that. Ultimately, it's very rare you see Harvey Elliott go through any performance or any sort of role and not have a say. You know, and again tonight he does it. I know he got man of the match on the telly. It might be, that might not quite be it. I don't think we're going to give him man of the match in a few minutes. But yeah, really good, really, really good. And again, just having him back and having him available to call upon could be really important. I think it could be really, really important. Little boss man of the match from Nick. I'll say that. Liverpool through and through. Yeah, absolutely he is. That is very true. High sounds, we've got a boss from Awesome. Boss, but on the wing you were missing. I still maintain I don't think he is an out-and-out winger, to be honest. And this is kind of point. It felt as though that's been one of the major frustrations with Harvey's injury for me. Not just what it means we haven't got in terms of the squad profile and what we haven't got to call upon. Somebody who can take up really interesting positions, and positions that for a defender are a nightmare, or a midfielder for that matter, because you don't want to go into those pockets with him, but he makes you because you've got to. But he has got the ability to sort of just make things happen, and especially against teams that bank up, like Southampton did a little bit tonight, he can be that sort of jack in the box, that additional threat, that X factor, if you like. And I think the finish tonight, actually, with his right foot, by the way, and I'm aware it takes a big old deflection, but I've not seen Harvey Elliott strike a ball that cleanly with his right foot ever in my life, I don't think. And even the attempt to get it back across and into that far corner is the right one. So, yeah, I'm pleased. I do think he would have had a much bigger role to play had it not been for injuries, obviously. Low boss from Jesse, Harvey boss. I don't mind it. I don't mind it either, my mate. I think somewhere like that alongside his mate, Tyler Morton, makes sense for Harvey. Where am I now? I am at... hey. Ha. Looking forward to this one. I'm going to let the chat do the talking for just a minute when it comes to Darwin. Scored. There was a deflection, Luke. Yeah, absolutely there was a deflection. No two ways about that. Kat says hi sound. Matt Bannister says boss Darwin, we love you. Misty also thought Darwin was boss. SF says sound got his goal. Sound from Rachel 2. High sound, low boss. Okay, I like you guys. You're being very positive about Darwin. He needs his own category. Okay, not good enough, says Michael Lee. Low sound from JC. Worked his socks off from Stuart. And high sound and cut time. High sound, his movement is class. He makes stuff happen. For me, he's not the out-and-out striker we need, but he works so hard and he scores. Okay. There was a 3v2, I think, for Liverpool. Yeah, and we didn't execute it very well at all. We could have potentially been further out of sight had we have done that. Jesse said he took his goal well and put in his he took his goal. If he had missed that, Jesus, I would not like to have seen the reaction had he missed that. Baldwin, no comment. If I speak, I'm in trouble, because you know what, you've been quite positive about Darwin. And listen, Charlie, I'm pleasantly surprised. Wayne Kerr says sound he's frustrating. Okay, let's put him on the board then. Let's put him on the board. Yeah, Stevie, I wonder in Twitter would not a bit. Yeah, that is a good point, Jack. By the way. He shut up, and you know what? And he knew as well. He only knows about 50 words in English, Darwin Nunez, right now. And I can guarantee you now, about 6 of them are, you're just a shit Andy Carroll. 6? That was good, wasn't it? He knows them. He understands them fully. Because when he hears them, he has this inbuilt ability to score moments later. And then he has this immediate sense that I need to fucking tell these people what I've just done. and he's so good at it. His shithousery is second to none in his Liverpool team right now. So that, for me, is an instant sort of nudge up, this particular board. So yeah, let's pop him on there. I've got a lovely space over here, which I'm going to fill with Darwin's head. I feel that's appropriate. And also, I could nudge him a bit more for that moment when it looked like he was about to have a massive kick-off with Jan Bednarek. And I'll be honest, I was shit myself because he is hot-headed. Like, he is as South American as they come. We all seen him headbutt Joachim Andersen. However, instead of elbowing him, which I was fearing for a minute, they just hugged it out. They just looked at each other straight in the eyes, and instead of going toe-to-toe, let's have it, let's see who wins, they just hugged it out. So yeah, the celebration, the goal, the hug with Jan Bednarek, pretty good night for Darwin. A very Darwin night. He's shushing the crowd after chanting shit Andy Carroll at him. He's scoring goals, and he's hugging centre-halves. The fella's mad. the fella's mad. Cody Gakpo. Fella's fucking wild. What do you think about Cody? The only surprise really with Cody is that he didn't score, which in the Carabao Cup is unheard of, like uncharted territory, Cody Gakpo. But yeah, he's great, isn't he? He's just great. I don't think it's his best night, by any stretch of imagination. He's just great. Involved in the build-up for Harvey Elliott's goal, heavily involved in the build of Harvey Elliott's goal. Always a threat cutting inside. Overhit a couple, too many of his crosses early on. I think the wind might have been having an effect. He needs to get a different club out. I'm not a golf guy at all, despite my surname. But yeah, I thought Cody was brilliant. I think Cody's always brilliant though, isn't he? Yeah. Awesome, says he cuts inside too much. Interestingly enough, Paul's our fella, John, mentioned that to me this week. He'd like him to be a bit more unpredictable, basically, because his go-to pretty much every time is cutting inside. So do get your point. Maybe if he did go once or twice down the outside. No, I do remember him doing that a little bit tonight. So maybe he is trying to add that extra string to his bow. But yeah, I thought it was a good night for Cody. Actually, yeah, lovely ball inside to Harvey too. Okay, sound. Let's do that then, shall we? Let's go for high sound for Cody, says official. Yeah, that'll do for me. Really quiet. I'm quite glad he was quiet in a way. I know this sounds a bit weird, but I don't think Cody Gakpo, who's been in brilliant form, full stop this season, certainly in the past 10 games, I think he got 7 goals. I don't think tonight, in a weird way, was a night for Cody Gakpo to come to the fore. It felt more like a night for Darwin Nunez, who's been under real scrutiny, and Harvey Elliott, who we're really glad to have back. It felt like a night for them to do the business, because he's just playing well full stop. So he can save his goals and impacts for the weekend game against Spurs. So yeah, I know it's a really odd take, but it's kind of where Matt. He's played a lot of footy, so let him just tick over, which kind of feels like he did tonight. Let's do some subs. Costas, Diogo, Jaden Danza. We haven't got a James McConnell. I can only apologise to James McConnell. Yeah, I feel really bad. It's not really my fault, but I do feel bad. So instead, we'll do Costas. What do you think? Costas, Tsimikas. I'm saving one for a minute as well, by the way. Yeah, let's rattle through some subs, because it's 11 o'clock at night here, and I have been here since 8 o'clock this morning. So, I'm pretty tired. Costas, Tsimikas. Costas sound. Low sound, defensively shaky sound. Listen, yeah. He's back. He played. He played more than I thought, to be honest with you, given I think he only trained for the first time yesterday. So yeah, Simi was sound. Misty, I like you. You'll do for me. Diogo. Felt like Diogo was going to make something happen, didn't it, to be honest with you? The couple of times you ran the defence, I think he was the one who beat a couple, found Chiesa, and then Chiesa did what Chiesa did. But yeah, I think Jota was good. And ultimately, given not a setback, but Arne Slot was a little bit, Jota wasn't really right after the Fulham game. I immediately went, oh, for fuck's sake. But then to see him again tonight just sort of eases those worries about where he's at fitness-wise. So, yeah, nice to see him get some more minutes. And hopefully he's ready for the weekend because he quite likes playing against Spurs. He quite likes playing against clubs from North London, to be honest with you. High sound, says Kat. High sound, says Freedom Journey. Low boss, says Robert. Wow, you were really having Jota's cameo. Let's go there. I like high sound. Jane Dans. I feel like I've said this fucking on repeat for the past 40 minutes, but nice to see him back. It is, though, because, again, I said it earlier on tonight, so I won't repeat myself too much, but really tricky season for Jane Dans. And it's a shame because it felt like he was ready for a breakthrough, but back injuries have curtailed that happening yet. But I think he looked good, actually, when he came on. Some really nice touches, a couple of moments when he gets out of a really tight space under pressure. And he's a good footballer. He's a proper centre-forward type too. And there's a lot to like there. There's certainly a lot to work with there. Still very raw, still loads of development to come. But you can tell. You can tell, can't you? Sound. Homegrown, good to see him back. Not loads of time for him with difficulty. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it, to be honest with you. You can just tell sometimes, can't you? And I think Jayden Nance fits into that category. I've not got loads of space for him, though, which is problematic. Yeah, I'm in danger of putting him somewhere where they want to put him. Shit in hell. I made a rod for me own back here. Let's put Costas in that gap. Jesus. Sorry for turning me back to him. I'm aware of how incredibly rude that is. And let's move Diogo a bit that way so I can pop Jayden there. Stunning. Federico. Last one. Somebody said, squeeze Jota up and slot Dan's underneath. I kind of did that. Kind of. I do like Jayden Dans. What can I say? Guilty. Shoot me. Federico Chiesa. Let's round this off with the Italian. Mixed feelings on Chiesa. Certainly in game. People were saying he wasn't interested. People were saying he didn't look fit. People were saying how rusty he was, sending him back to Italy, etc., etc., etc. And I guess he did look rusty ultimately because, he hasn't played a lot of footy. But I don't know. That nutmeg alone on the touchline we're starting like a here for that. And then we'll work our way down from there, I guess. Jesse says, look very dangerous, amazing touch, should have scored. Unlucky. He was definitely lucky with the two efforts he made in quick succession. The first one's goal bound, the first one's in. I think it's Harwood Bellis gets back to clear it off the line. Good clearance, actually. And it would have been a really nice finish from Chiesa, too. Left-footed, cutting inside. And the second shot wasn't a bad one, too. The moment that did baffle me a little bit was we spoke about Jota finding him in loads of space inside the area a moment ago. And is it a shot? Is it a pass? If it's not a pass and it is a shot, it's a terrible shot. And if it isn't a shot and it is a pass, why is he passing? So whatever way you slice that, really, it's not great. But yeah, was a pass, says Tim. Okay. His decision-making definitely wasn't always the best then, because why you pass him as a forward, as an attacking player especially, with the goal literally at your mercy. I scored a goal for very similar angles to that last night playing footy, so I'm aware that it's possible, Federico. So if you need any tips in finishing as a right footer from the right-hand side of the area, from that angle, then my DMs are open. But yeah, listen, loads more to come. We're not going to make sort of any hard and fast judgments on Federico Chiesa's Liverpool career right here. You can't write him off as the next Artemelo, and you also can't suggest he's going to go on to become Liverpool's version of Gianfranco Zola. However, I thought it was fine. And similar to what we said about 15 little lads behind me, nice to see him play, and hopefully more to come. Sound. Let's wrap this up. Michaela says he looked rusty at first, but nice to see him. Yeah, taking people on. To be fair, he got little service. Sound, says Lucas. I think he's just a sound, isn't he? Joe thinks he's going to come good. Move Nyoni and slot Feddy underneath. Sharp, considering he hasn't played. Okay, we're quite positive. Oh, okay, I like move Nyoni up. Now you're speaking my language. Let's move Nyoni up there and just put Feddy there. Ignore the bit that's sort of overhanging you're messing, because it's a little bit harsh. Last two things to do are man the match. Oh no, I can't. Have I got Arne Slot anywhere? I think I've covered Arne Slot with one of the young lads. I think I have, yeah, I can't do that. Can't do that. So no Arne Slot tonight. Although he was not on the touchline, so. Man the match, you know what to do here. Just put whoever you think man the match is in the chat. I'll look at it. I'll stick this on the board somewhere. I'll say goodbye. I'll go home. Endo. He's already played more than Mel. It's a good point. Kelleher. Elliott. Endo. He should start that game, yeah, absolutely. Endo, Morton, you're all right. Endo, Edno. Endo. Why is Trent so high? Listen, I'm guided by you guys. I thought Trent was all right. There's some Trent hate going on at the minute. I'm not suggesting you are in that particular camp, but yeah, Trent is not flavour of the month right now at Liverpool Football Club. I think it's fair to say. Endo, Salah, yeah, he played well, to be fair. He did play well. LFC Mav, anything other than Endo is incorrect for me. Japanese Milner, should be Wata in the Endo. Tony Wood, yeah, listen, this could be the first time it isn't, remarkably. Michaela, I feel like I say this a lot, Michaela. It tends to be always me. I was going to say, I'm not going to say it. Tends to be always me. There's no way of phrasing this, right? It sounded awful. Putting your comment up last and going based off your judgment. See that? Oh no. That's the first wrong thing he's done all night. He's man of the match though, with Wataru Endo. Well done. Well done, everyone. He did fall, Robert. He did. And ho, 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 ho. There's a Christmas jumper right there. Passing that onto the merch team. Sound. That's that then. Wataru Endo needs a new magnet. He needs a new magnet bad. Yeah, wonderful. Job done. Player rankings done for another night, another day. But always you. Liverpool in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, which is positive. Really, really positive. Tonight was pretty positive, to be honest with you. Lots of changes. Lots of unfamiliar faces when it comes to Liverpool this season in many senses. But ultimately, job done. 2-1, Darwin Nunez, Harvey Elliott. Yeah, happy days. We'll find out tomorrow night who we're playing. Where after Spurs have taken on Manchester United, and we'll see what happens there. And then we'll know who will play either on the 5th of January and then the 7th of February. So yeah, stick around for that. Quad bod, listen mate, I'm going to bed. I've been here for nearly, over 12 hours. That doesn't make any sense. For 15, 16 hours now. Hard life. And honestly, thank you very much for getting involved in this bit, as ever. Massively, massively appreciated. Thank you for the last bit, for the watch-along bit, and the bit right at the start of the night as well. It's massively, massively appreciated, as ever. I'm not here this weekend either, so I won't see you for the Spurs game, but, up the Reds. Take care. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.